Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here to talk about some value plays I'm liking for the Week 3 main slate. Real quick before I get into the video, though, we do have a Thursday night showdown slate tonight. I will be live streaming 30 minutes before lock. It's twitch.tv/DK_DFS. Would appreciate if you guys come check out the stream. And yeah, that's it. So let's just jump right into the value plays I like. So value plays, I'm talking 5K and below. So we'll start with quarterback. Quarterback, there's a couple options actually. So first being Daniel Jones here at 5K. Now, obviously, I would like it if he was cheaper, but DraftKings, did a good job pricing him. Eli, it's just completely washed his career. So I think Daniel Jones is the better quarterback. So I think it's a slight boost to the Giants' offense. Tampa Bay's defense has actually looked pretty good in the first couple games, so I don't know how sustainable that is. So, Daniel Jones, I think is okay here. Not my favorite, just because, again, like if I'm paying in this like mid to lower range for QBs, I'm just going to go over to Kyler Murray, who I really like there at 5.8. But yeah, Daniel Jones, I think it's fine if you like this as a game stack. Giants, Tampa Bay, I think it could turn it into a shootout, so I don't mind Daniel Jones there. Another quarterback here is Mason Rudolph. Again, we had a lot of injuries in week 2, with a lot of starting quarterbacks going down. Big Ben went down; he's out for the season. It's Mason Rudolph season, so I actually like Mason Rudolph a decent amount here. If you're guys making multiple lineups, I think you make a Mason Rudolph, James Washington stack. I talked about that in my early look video. I do like it still. They played together at college, Oklahoma State. Obviously, they had a great connection. They showed it in the preseason. This guy just loves targeting James Washington, and he's looked like a pretty good quarterback. And San Francisco's defense, nothing to be that scared of. So I think Mason Rudolph's actually a pretty solid play here at 4.8. Now, really, like Daniel Jones or Rudolph, I don't think they're cash game viable. But definitely for GPPs, Mason Rudolph, James Washington, I do like that stack a decent amount. Teddy Bridgewater at 4.7, I think is okay. Obviously, Drew Brees is going to be out for a while. He looked, not the best there when he took over, but they also still have Tyson Hill, who they said, may even get some time here. So as of right now, it's a stay away from me just because I'm worried they might just use both quarterbacks in this game. So as of right now, it's a stay away for Bridgewater. And then finally, we got Kyle Allen at the flat minimum. Now, as of right now, Thursday night, it's looking like Cam Newton's not going to play Sunday. So that means Kyle Allen would be the starter. Arizona's defense, too, gets a really juicy matchup. Now, I know it's risky. He's a backup quarterback for sure. But the flat minimum price and the fact that he's playing Arizona's defense, I think he's almost a fringe cash game play just because, 4K, the flat minimum, you can make a lot work in your lineup if you plug him in there. So he's fringe cash game playable, definitely GPP viable for sure. I do like this game as part of Game Stack a lot, so I think Kyle Allen would be a pretty solid play here if there's no Cam Newton at 4K. And that's basically it for value quarterback. So let's move on to running back. Running back, there's a few options here. So we still have to wait for the Kansas City injury news here with Damian Williams and LaShawn McCoy. Williams did not practice. McCoy practices in limited fashion. So if both those guys miss, it's going to be Darwin Thompson, I think, who's going to get most of the work. So, again, this is a situation we have to monitor. If Damian Williams misses, I think McCoy would be a decent option. I think he would get a little more work there. So, wouldn't mind McCoy. He's not utilized that much, though, in the passing game. Other cheap running backs, the Tampa Bay situation, I know Peyton Barber had a great game there, but just to stay away, they're going to ride the hot hand. Last time I tried to play Ronald Jones, and they said he's going to get more work, and he got like 2-3 carries. So it's just Tampa Bay's just a stay away for me. Other running backs, Frank Gore with Singletary going down to injury. He got a lot more work, but I'm just not going to get excited about Frank Gore even at 4.4K. Like, yeah, they're probably going to give him a little more work, but they still have TJ Yeldon too. So it's just, I'm not going to get excited about Frank Gore there at 4.4K. The Denver running backs, it's still just like a 50-50 split. I know they're cheap, but I think there's probably better options. Let's see, other running backs. Justin Jackson's okay, but not seeing as, I would like to be seeing more like 40% of the work. He's only really getting like 20-25% of the work. So I just think he's okay as well. Rashad Penny's interesting here. Chris Carson fumbled twice in that game, and Rashad Penny actually looked pretty good one given carry. He's got 10 carries for 62 yards. So this is a situation where maybe you take a shot at Rashad Penny, deep flyer for GPPs in hopes that Chris Carson doesn't look good in week 3 and then they just give it to Rashad Penny all the carries. So, I wouldn't mind if you're making a lot of lineups taking a shot on Penny in 1. Burkhead's interesting here. because this game should get out of hand pretty quick in my opinion. The Jets just look terrible there, and New England has just looked absolutely amazing here in the first couple of weeks. Obviously Michelle's the number one, but they still work Burkhead, and they have James White too. So I don't mind Burkhead there again. I think the game could get out of hand, which means probably a few more carries there for Burkhead. So I don't mind him there at 3.9. Other running backs, Yeldon. If I was going to play a Buffalo running back, I think it actually would be Yeldon. He's a better PPR back for sure out of Frank Gore. And again, I can't get excited about playing Frank Gore if there's no Singletary. Now, he's listed as questionable, but I assume he's going to be out for this game. So yeah, that's also a situation we do have to monitor. So I'd only consider Yeldon, obviously, if there's no Singletary. Other running backs, Ito Smith. Freeman has looked really bad, and they're giving Ito Smith. It's almost like a 50-50 split now. So, I don't think he's the worst play in the world here at 3.7. And then finally, let's get to a couple really cheap guys. So, I already talked about Darwin Thompson a little bit. Again, we have to monitor this Damian Williams and LaShawn McCoy news. If both those guys miss, Darwin Thompson becomes a cash game play for sure here at min price. It's just any piece of this Kansas City offense would be so valuable, and if both those backs are out, Darwin Thompson should get a lot of work. So again, this is a situation you have to monitor, but I would really like him there if both backs are out. If only one is out, I still think he's viable here, but the concern is that they still have Darrell Williams for Kansas City, who could steal some work as well. He's also at a flat minimum, so that would be the only concern if only one of those backs are out. They still would have three backs. So, again, a situation we have to monitor in Kansas City. One more cheap guy I'll bring up who I think is going to go virtually unowned is Ty Johnson for Detroit. So they shipped C.J. Anderson out of town. He's no longer there. It's Kerryon and Ty Johnson's the number 2. They picked up Paul Perkins, but I don't see him getting that much work. So, obviously, like I said, it's going to be Kerryon 1, but Ty Johnson has looked really good. The Lions are really high on this guy. He just got a lot of praise there in training camp. Like I said, they really like this rookie. He's a good pass catching back as well. So, if something happens to Kerryon, Ty Johnson would just be, could have an explosion game. Even if, Kerryon's fine. I mean, Ty Johnson still, the Lions like working 2 running backs. Like, they were giving C.J. Anderson almost half the work there. So, I think Ty Johnson could get like 30-40% of the work here at min price. That's something you got to keep an eye on. So, obviously not for cash games, but for GPPs, I think he's at least worth a look. Let's move on to wide receiver. So, wide receiver, we've got a lot of injuries here, especially the Philly guys. I'll get to the Philly guys in a sec. But let's go below 5K and below. So, McCall Hardman, I really like him here still at 5K. Again, he had like a 70-yard touchdown called back, so he could have had a huge week 2 there. If I'm picking between Hardman and Robinson, I'm going to lean towards Hardman just because I think Robinson is a little more popular because he had the bigger week. But I think Hardman has more upside, so I do like Hardman there a good amount at 5K. The Arizona receivers, you guys know, if you guys have watched my videos for the NFL this year, I love Arizona. The receivers, again, they run like 4 wide receivers, so that's like 80% of the time. Kirk, Fitzgerald, Bird, all over 90%. How can you not like that? Carolina's defense, not too scared about it. I mean, Luke Kuechly's a solid linebacker, but that's about it. Christian Kirk, you really can't go wrong there, 5K. I really like Arizona. Other receivers, let's see. Emmanuel Sanders, I know he's old, but he's still flashing huge upside. Denver is just feeding this guy targets. Green Bay, I mean, they should be playing from behind here. It should be good game script for him. I like him a good amount here at 4.8K. You can't go wrong. The price is not budging on him, so take advantage of that while you can. The Jets receivers is to stay away from me. Curtis Samuel, I think is interesting. If you're doing a game stack, I think you could pair him with Kyle Allen if there's no Cam Newton. Again, Curtis Samuel had like a couple in week 2 where a couple routes where if Cam Newton put on the money, it would have been a touchdown. So I like Curtis Samuel as part of a game stack with Kyle Allen there. Other cheap receivers, let's see. Cole Beasley, I think, is okay at 4.4. I don't think he has huge upside, but Josh Allen does like targeting this guy out of the slot. Let's see. Moncrief is a complete stay away. That dislocated finger, he can't catch a ball. It's a complete stay away from me. Preston Williams would be the one Miami guy I would at least consider. He's a rookie, and he's looked pretty good. He's a big body. They can go to him in the red zone. Obviously, there's Josh Rosen. I guess I didn't really talk about Josh Rosen, but I'm not targeting him at all. I know he's picking up a start here from Miami, but it's just a stay away. The one guy I would target at Miami, though, again, I would take a shot on Preston Williams, but wouldn't feel great about that. Um, Other wide receivers, let's see. So Nelson Aguilar, he's going to be really popular for cash games. I think probably the most popular player for cash games this week, but probably for a good reason. Deshaun Jackson and Nelson Aguilar most likely out um, for a couple weeks at least here. So Nelson Aguilar will be the de facto number one receiver. I mean, Ertz will obviously be their top target, but Nelson Aguilar will be their number one receiver, and he's going to play out of the slot a good amount. So I think he's really fine for cash games, but there are pivots off him. One of those pivots is J.J. Arcega-Whiteside at 3.5K. He didn't do much there in week 2, but in the preseason, this guy looked really good. Philly was peppering him with targets. He's a taller guy that can go to him in the red zone, and I think he's a solid pivot off of Nelson Aguilar there. Aguilar is going to eat up all the ownership, but I still think J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is a solid pivot off him. And then same thing with Mac Hollins here at 3.2. He got targeted 8 times, 5 catches, 50 yards. He has, that big play upside in him. So you really, if you don't want to go Aguilar, there's definitely pivots here with Whiteside and Mac Hollins. But back to other receivers. Like I said, Aguilar, he's going to be the chalkiest option, I think, on this slate. But, it's really hard to get off him there for cash games. James Washington. So, I think he's fringe cash game playable. Again, Moncrief has looked terrible. They're giving the snaps to James Washington, so he's kind of the number 2 receiver now. And Mason Rudolph loves targeting this guy. So I like that stack for GPPs, and he's almost fringe cash game. I would say fringe just because I'd feel much more comfortable with Aguilar. But I think James Washington has huge upside, so I like him for GPPs. Devin Smith for Dallas. Michael Gallup's going to be out. He'll probably see some more snaps. I think he's okay here at 3.4K. Definitely viable. And then finally, let me talk about, I brought him up in my early only video, but I'll bring him up again. It's Damari Bird. He's playing in over 90% of the snaps. He got targeted 7 times each of the first couple of games. So yeah, there's really not much to hate about this guy at min price. I like him a decent amount there, and I like him part of a game stack. So there's a lot of solid, cheap receivers on this slate. But that's basically it for receivers. So let's move on to tight end. So tight end, Mark Andrews, I think is going to be probably the most popular tight end for GPPs. For cash games, I'm taking a stand and fading him. And the reason why is the snap counts. He's not seeing over 50% of the work. I know he's looked amazing so far in these first couple games, and the matchup is so good. But for cash games, I'm just taking a stand here, and I'm fading him. I don't want to play a guy that's only going to play 50% of the snaps. Baltimore, they have Hayden Hurst, they have Boyle. They like rotating their tight ends. So, I don't think Mark Andrews can keep up this level of production with the limited snaps. Now, if he was playing, 80% of the snaps, then yes, I would definitely like him more for cash games. For GPPs, 100%. Like I said, he's probably going to be the most popular tight end for GPPs. This Baltimore-Kansas City game is definitely game stackable. It's probably going to be the most popular game stack of the week. But yeah, for GPPs, you can 100% go to him there. Cash games, I'm taking a stand and fading. Waller here, 4.1. Again, the matchup not the best, but Oakland should be playing from behind here. It's him and Tyrell Williams really is all Oakland has for targets. So I like Darren Waller a decent amount there, 4.1. Other tight ends, we got OJ Howard. I like the buy low on him at 3.8K. I know didn't get targeted at all there in week 2, but he's still playing the snaps. Tampa Bay said they still want to target this guy. The matchup's really good against the Giants. I like buying low on guys. OJ Howard is a guy that I like to buy low on here this week. So I think he's cash game viable. Fringe cash game viable just because and there is some risk involved, but I like his upside a lot there for GPPs. Greg Olsen at 3.7. I think he's really solid here. Again, the matchup is really good. Cam Newton has just looked terrible, and he's questionable. So I think, Kyle Allen, I don't think it'll be that big of a downgrade going from Cam Newton to Kyle Allen. So Greg Olsen, a guy that's out there over 90% of the time. Again, matchup really good. So I think he's also a solid value tight end. Other guys, Hawkinson I think is okay. I think everyone will be off him after that he burned a lot of people there in week 2. But I wouldn't mind going back to the well there at 3.5K. Are there any other tight ends that I would at least consider? probably not. I don't think it's worth a shot taking a shot on any of these other really cheap guys. So yeah, that's about it, guys. So again, I will be live streaming for this Thursday night showdown about 30 minutes before lock. It's twitch.tv/DK_DFS. We would really appreciate if you guys come check out the stream. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, if you've been enjoying the content so far, I'd really appreciate it if you would like this video and subscribe if you haven't. And I'll be back for another video. I will have a full breakdown of the week 1 or the week 3 main slate up my channel tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. So yeah, I will see you guys then.